I'm going to take a second to talk to you about underdogs.
Eagles fans everywhere, this is for
Yeah.
you.
Fly, Eagles fly, Eagles on the team. Touchdown, time to get Jalen this ring. You don't really want to start a thing. This a bird game nation, baby. It's a Philly thing. Hater, and you looking like you type trash. I'm just here calling on Philly the podcast. And we can call a man dog or watch Miles score off the handoff. Rest of the division, your man saw Jackson like Sean, Hunting like Randolph. Season here, really time to do them in. Your boy Philly Fresco. Thanks for tuning in.
What is going on, you guys? It's your boy Joe Castro, aka Philly Fresco, and this is Philly Podcast. So, shout out to everybody already in the chat. Shout out to every Philadelphia Eagles fan out there because it is time, y'all. It is time. We go through one more work week and we get some Eagles football. It feels good. So I brought the homies. It feels good. And one of my homies left, but I'm sure he'll be right back. But today we got my boy Black Market and we got my boy Swerve who will be right back. What's good, my guy? What's good, Marcus? How you doing, man? Introduce yourself.
I'm doing all right, man. Hey for everybody. My name is Marcus Blackstock. You can reach me at BlackMark600 on IG, and then also on Twitter you can meet me at what's called Imagine_Life2. So I'm there. Just hit me up at any time.
And Marv, for the people that don't know, let them know who you are. We already said our mean things, so you can say the nice things about you. You know what I'm saying?
I am Simply Swerve. You can find me at Simply Swerve Facebook, Marv Cotton Cole Facebook, Eugene _Stifler on IG, I believe. I don't really be keeping up. And my Twitter is Cotton D Marcus. That's where you can find me. Or you can find me on Philly the Podcast, Simply Swerve, hosted by Philly the Podcast. I'm out here in these streets. We out here.
Yes, sir. So it is time. It is time to give our final, this is our final rant, final thoughts on the Philadelphia Eagles going into the season. All bets are off. Once they kick that ball, all bets are off. We can make up all these predictions. We can think what we want, say what we want. The gloves come off. It's time to realize what this team is. Like Eagles Slayer says, last Sunday before Eagles football. So Let me ask you guys this. Before we get into any, topical Eagles questions, let me know how this offseason has been. How do you feel about the Philadelphia Eagles, and their offseason? Do you feel that they got enough work? Do you feel that it was a productive offseason? Marcus, we're going to start with you, and then we'll work our way down to Swerve.
All right. So what I think about this Eagles offseason, it's not any different than any other. To me, it's not any different than any other Eagles offseason. The reason I say that is this: there's always going to be peaks in the Eagles offseason, and there's going to be valleys. Right? We saw it right in the beginning when Coach Sirianni was hired, and they had his press conference. People jumped on him and said, this guy doesn't even know Philly. This guy doesn't do this or do that, right? And then they follow that, you know how the city is for, fans are. They did that, and then right after that, they started signing. They signed Eric Wilson, right? And then everybody's, they got a linebacker. And then the draft came, and then they got Devontae Smith, and all that. And then everybody was happy again, and then we went under talking back about Carson Wentz. So that's the valley, right? And then it peaked right back out of it with, training camp and all that, and actually getting to hear Coach Sirianni and what he's all about, and, actually paying attention. Folks are like, okay, well, then everybody started being optimistic. So all we have to do is pretty much just understand the reality of what this team is. And we talked about it offline, and just, that's how I feel about the offseason. It's just been even, which is a good thing. So,
what you thinking, Marv?
I'm thinking we're fans of the most overreactive fan base, number one, right?
Yeah.
So we over-exaggerate everything, no matter if it's good or bad, right? So, like you said, we hired Sirianni. And it went, who the F is this guy? This guy doesn't know a thing about football. Eagles suck. I'm used to it because we live in the area. You haven't seen it firsthand. Like, you came up for a game, but you haven't, literally an Eagles fan will be the happiest person as soon as they score a touchdown. Oh my God, we're going to win the Super Bowl. And 12 minutes later, the Eagles suck. So it's like we over exaggerate and we overhype everything, right? So at this point in my life, I'm not saying I haven't been guilty. I have been guilty of, but at this point, I look at it and like he said, it's peaks and valleys. It's going to be peaks and valleys. The problem is every peak for an Eagles fan in this fan base is the world's greatest thing, and every valley the world is coming to an end. Mm-hmm. So the Sirianni hire didn't go over. Everybody hated the Eagles. Howie sucks. Lori sucks. They hired a yes man. Blah blah blah. That they hate the Eagles. Then Devontae Smith falls into our lap at 10. So now it's, oh my God, we're back. We're the greatest. But then in the second round, even I was guilty of this because we did the draft show that night. In the second round, they draft Landon Dickerson. So I'm like, yo, you just blew. We're on cloud 9, and then you draft Landon Dickerson, which in hindsight, in retrospect, it makes complete sense. Like, especially if he actually ends up playing this year. But it goes, so like you said, it's peaks and valleys. And I'm just going to ride with it. Like, there's no expectations this year from me. There's literally no expectations on my end from a fan perspective. I just want them to go out there and compete. Like, we're going to get blown out some games. I know that. We're going to lose some tight games. We might win some games we should. So there's literally no expectation. Like Mark was saying earlier, I just want to see growth and development. This is a year for growth and development. Yes. So, but your team, and saying that, the way the league is just set up, like your team can grow and develop. Your team, this team could actually just be we're underrating this team to the point they could go out and win 10 games, but we don't get to see this actual team. Or this team could be a 4-13 team, but been in dogfights and have actually developed and are headed in the right direction. So I just want to see growth from certain players, number one especially. I want to see the receivers develop. Like the only thing we can say is if healthy, we have a great offensive line and defensive line. Everything else is a question mark. Mm-hmm. Well, not saying, no disrespect to Sanders, because the running backs are solid. But I'm saying for the most part, this team this season has question marks at almost every position. So I just want to see development. I want to see growth, and I want to see what we do. Like, no expectations. No expectations.
Yeah, I think that's all we can really ask for out of these players and out of this coaching staff. We've been asking for development. We've been, that was the reason why I feel like Doug Peterson was kind of pushed out, is because he wasn't developing our players. But if you look at this coaching staff, you look at Jonathan Gannon, you look at even Michael Clay, down to our special teams coach, all these guys are about development, right? So, you look at, like I said, Jonathan Gannon, our young players look like they're getting better every week. There's a question mark with me, at least for Taron Jackson. I don't feel like he really made a leap anywhere, but I like what I've seen out of Marlon from week 1 to week 3, if you want to even call them weeks. I like what I've seen from, Milton Williams in the middle, from week 1 to week 3. I feel like he's continuously getting better. You keep hearing good things about these guys. And then on the offensive side as well, you're seeing these route runners really shine. They even got me to the point. I mean, Nick Sirianni even got me to the point of saying, I trust you with J-Jaw. Like, I just feel like these guys can probably teach these guys to be good, but to marry what you guys were saying with what I'm saying is that I don't know if it's going to be this year, right? We've talked that this year, this year might just be that learning curve year, and that's fine. I think that we got to be okay with that. But I want to ask you guys this, because it kind of coattailing that a little bit. We obviously just did the whole 53-man roster. Me and Brandon gave our reactions and everything, but we weren't able to get y'all on. So what was y'all reaction? We'll, again, start with you, Marcus, and work our way down to Swerve. But what was your initial reaction? Was there anybody on there that you were like, I can't believe he made it? And on the reverse side, anybody you can't believe he did?
Yes.
I'm sure we have the same
answer. We just, we sit in the chat, what I'm saying? Like, yes, the guy that I had to really, look at what was going on after I said it was JJ making it over Fulgham. But then I actually looked back at the preseason games, and then looked at what was, put out there, the film and all that, on what was actually going on between Fulgham and JJ. And Fulgham, it's not a field issue, right? It's not a field issue with Fulgham for Travis. It's the entitlement. You know, he had that 4-game stretch last year where he was at that one time he was the best receiver in that 4-game stretch. You know how it is when you think you've made it, and then like boom, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, stay humble. Like, keep doing what you got. Right. Keep doing what you was doing to get there. But then at some point, you know, obviously we saw what took place, the situation with Alshon taking back his snaps, and then he got emotional about it. And instead of him saying, look, I'm gonna keep grinding, I'm gonna keep showing my staff and my team that, look, I'm here for y'all and I'm gonna do the best I can, he got in his feelings. And that report card followed over to this coaching staff, right? And you keep doing the same things, like, why am I not here? Why am I not starting? Why am I not doing this? And you can tell, like, when a guy doesn't get first team reps practically throughout training camp, and then, you know, in the summer, and then you get into the preseason games, and you don't get into the third or fourth quarter. What is that? That's a message. They make whatever they're telling you, you're not taking it and internalizing and saying, look,
pick it up,
right? Because these guys got a job. You know what I'm saying? Like, the coaches, that's their job. So guess what, guy that was undrafted? You see what I'm saying? The guy that was undrafted, you need to show that you are better than the guys that were actually drafted. And guess who was drafted in the second round? JJ, whether we like it or not, he was drafted in the second round. So guess what? He's going to get the benefit of the doubt.
Because we got to save face. We got to save face. I took a guy in the second round. I got his undrafted kid, which that was my reaction was, why is Arcega-Whiteside still on the team? Why is it Fulgham on the team? And like you said, I went back and JJ had the better training camp.
Right.
JJ had the better preseason. And again, he's a second round pick. So even if Sirianni wanted to cut him, Howie would and keep Fulgham. If that was the discussion in the room, hey, are we need a big receiver? Are we going to go with JJ, or are we going to keep Fulgham?
But if you let me jump in real quick, the other part of it is that people, I don't know if everybody was paying attention to, JJ plays special teams, right? Fulgham is just what you see.
He's
just a receiver.
I was just going to say that.
And that's kind of, it's at a detriment to him. Is like, look, you're an undrafted guy, so whatever the team needs,
you have to do. You
got to do exactly. It. But if all you doing is running routes, bro, and then in camp and then in the games, you're not showing the promise that taking the step that the team expects you to take, what's going to happen?
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts.
Especially
to even like kind of go on that, because shout out to Brandon. You know, Brandon was going to be here. We got stuff to do, but Brandon's been saying that for a minute. I mean, he's had a personalized. I feel like he should, but he doesn't. But he needs a personalized J-Jaw umbrella, because my man brought out a whole umbrella for one of his videos and everything. Yeah. But like he's been saying that, you know, what both of you guys are saying, that he does play special teams. That's probably going to give him that little bit of an edge on top of him being a guy that was drafted. Now, this Jack Talk wants to ask the panel something, so I feel like we should answer this. Do you guys think that Fulgham pulled a Wentz? And I'm assuming that he means and kind of just like punked up and didn't want to compete.
No,
I think this, but look at it from this perspective, right? And Fulgham still has practice squad eligibility, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you have a guy in Whiteside who's your second round pick, who's playing special teams, who's showing he's trying to take the next step. Then you have an undrafted kid who you're paying penny. You put them, you watch the tape, your second round pick outperformed your undrafted guy. Your second round pick on special teams. We're gonna let Fulgham go on waivers. Nobody claimed him. I'm surprised by that. But that goes to show you. That goes to show you the difference at what people are seeing out of him last year versus what he's done this year in the preseason. So I don't think he necessarily pulled the Wentz, but I think it does have something to do with Black said. Like, I think Fulgham had a little bit more entitlement than he should have came into camp with. I do believe Fulgham is one of the best 5 wide receivers on this roster. I just believe Arcega-Whiteside outworked him. We only kept one big body. So going in, it was going to be between those two. If you looked at the roster, there was only 2 big receivers that legitimately had a shot at making the team. And I believe Arcega-Whiteside outworked him. I'm not saying Arcega-Whiteside is the better player. I'm saying he's the second-round pick, and he had a better camp going into it. So I think Fulgham got outworked. Yeah. Thankfully, he cleared waivers, and he's on the practice squad. So I'm grateful for that. I think some point down the line, Fulgham will be back making plays on Sunday.
Yeah. And to answer for my part, no, I don't think that Fulgham pulled a Wentz. And the reason I say that is a little different, but it's kind of along the same lines. The one position you don't mess with mentally as a front office or a staff is the quarterback. You don't mess with.
We've seen that.
You don't mess with him at all.
Just like the Pats, as soon as Cam wasn't starting, what they do? Got him out of there just so Mac wasn't looking over his shoulder, right?
Right. Yeah, it's not the same, an undrafted guy to a second round wide receiver. You don't mess mentally with the quarterback on any team. Like you said, like Marv said, when Bill and when Bill decided that, hey, Mac Jones was going to be the quarterback, what did he do? He made sure there was nothing that Mac had to worry about behind him for another guy like Cam, because obviously Cam was an NFL MVP in 2015, right? You don't want that guy behind Mac. You don't want him behind him. You want Mac. Go ahead.
Especially if the locker room's divided. You understand? Yeah. Like, and if the locker room's divided, and Bill made the call. Look, I got this guy. He's a stopgap. Cam, let's call him what he is. He's a stopgap quarterback. Right. You just drafted a kid who you plan on having for the next 10 years. The last thing Bill wants is this guy to go out and have a bad game, and the locker room, hey, we got Cam sitting here. We got Cam sitting here. You know how that goes, because now we witnessed it for 2 years. We have the future, but then you have Nick Foles, who seems to play magically well when he's in Philadelphia, and it's just like Carson goes out and has a bad game. Everybody on 94, oh man, we got this overreacting again. Valleys and peaks. Now Nick Foles is the greatest quarterback. We got a second coming to Joe Montana. Yeah, sitting on the bench.
Yeah. Realistically, I feel like it's, and I hate to say it like this because it sounds like I'm just picking on my fan base. I love my fan base, but I feel like we're very, very unique in that. Like I've talked to a lot of different reporters for a lot of different teams, when we did the draft thing and everything, and they have fans that are, ridiculous, and everybody has those type of fans. But right. I feel as far as the backup quarterback position, let me put it this way: you're playing a Eagles fan in fantasy football by the amount of quarterbacks they get. I feel like, it's just an embedded thing in our mind that we just feel like that, because it has been for so long. It goes beyond Nick Foles. Like a lot of people talk about just Nick Foles because obviously he achieved the highest, plateau, but it goes beyond that. You look at guys like, Jeff Garcia, Coy Detmer, AJ Feely. We went to playoff games with these guys. So it's a thing about Philadelphia.
The backup quarterback is the most popular athlete in Philadelphia. Really always.
Yes.
And I really think it's just it's the clickbait factor. Like it really is. And I feel like it is what it is. The internet is a crazy, rabbit hole sometimes. But like the way that we word things and the way that things happen, we're an organization that really just doesn't put anything out. You know what I'm saying? We've kind of always been like that. We just don't put much out. Even when we had Andy, there wasn't much to go off of. It's just you trusted Andy. You know what I'm saying? Like you knew Andy knew what the hell he was doing. So we're in a situation that we went through so many different coaching staffs and training staffs, medical staffs, that it's like we don't know who we are. You know what I'm saying? So it's a nerve-wracking thing. So I think we'll get used to not knowing what's going on again. But yeah, that's where I'm at right now.
Look, for the last 20 years, let's look at the last 20 years of quarterback in Philadelphia. Bro, we were blessed. Like, you can love or hate McNabb, but we were blessed to have McNabb. Soon as McNabb, they signed Vic. I knew what the whole reason was behind signing Vic, right? Soon as McNabb threw one ball in the ground, McNabb done threw 99,000 passes at somebody's feet. Nobody cared. Soon as Vic was on the roster, McNabb had a bad 2 drives. Oh my God, get him out of there. Get Mike Vick in the game. That's just the backup quarterback is the most popular guy in Philadelphia. And then you look at McNabb. So you move on from McNabb, you get Vic again, right?
Yeah.
We go through Vic. The Bradford experiment was horrible. The whole Chip Kelly era was horrible. So we're not going to really take after Chip Kelly got rid of Chip Kelly's first game. The whole city's here because we hold 65 points on Washington.
Fact.
Yeah.
Chip Kelly sucks 2 years later. So, and if we don't let an old ass Darren Sproles return to kick 88 yards, we win that game and we probably move on. But that's here nor there. Like, Chip Kelly was walking on water after his first game. By the end of the second season, which he went 10-6, and Nick Foles looked like the second coming of Joe Montana that year too.
But go back.
Who was the
back though? Peaks, right?
And then Valley. Right.
That's how our fan base is. There's no either we cool or we about to go to the mental health clinic. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm being serious. Is either we cool or we about to go to the mental health clinic.
This is how work is.
In 100 years,
I was talking to somebody the other day about it. I was talking to somebody the other day, like playing in Philadelphia, and I was like, basically, it's one of the hardest cities to get love in. But once you have it, it really is brotherly love. Like, they'll do anything for you. They'll die for you. Like Brian Dawkins, there are people in Philadelphia that will probably jump in front of a moving car for that man. Like, you know what I'm saying? But some people literally too. But you know what it is? It's just like a different type of love. We'll do anything for you once you get that love. But I want to ask y'all a question because Ohana Means Family's asking favorite coach of all time. But I want to switch it up a little bit. If you could pick any of our former coaches, I know we're all OGs. We're not going to date ourselves too much. But if you could pick one of your favorite coaches or even mash up a couple, what do you want to see Nick Sirianni kind of be like?
Andy Reid meets Buddy Ryan.
You know who I wanted him to be like? John Harbaugh. And then Doug's aggressiveness on offense.
Now for the people that are probably there's probably some young people in here like John Harbaugh, the Ravens, and he was a Philadelphia Eagles coach.
Special teams, he was a special teams coach.
So you know what I'm saying? I like that you threw that in there. That's smart. I like that.
Yeah.
Go ahead. You were gonna say something. My bad.
Yeah. No, it was just that's who I see. That's who I would like Sirianni to be. And then I watched what he did with the offense in Indianapolis, where
Taylor had a good year.
He used the running backs. He actually ran. That's the thing that I want him to take away. Use your running backs. Use them. That's what they're there for.
Yeah, and that's what as soon as you said that, I said Taylor had a tremendous year under Sirianni.
Yeah.
I like his offensive. I like what he's done. Like, I went back and watched the Colts last year, and you had Phillip Rivers. You had Phillip Rivers there. And with Phillip Rivers, like, not saying Phillip Rivers is washed, but he's older. He didn't have the mobility. They licked on JT a little bit. They produced offensive. So offensively, I'm thinking, he might have what we need offensively. He might use Miles a little more. You have Boston Scott, who looked amazing during camp this year, who had an amazing camp. You have Gainwell, who I'm a huge fan of. Like, Gainwell, I would have liked to keep a big back Howard on the practice team. Hopefully he gets the injured. I know Carrion got hurt and got put on IR. Yeah, I was going to touch job talk. I was just going to say we had John Gruden as the offensive coordinator for 2 years, and it was halfway successful.
Higher coaches.
And he went on the Raiders. He left. He got the Raiders job after his 3 years as an offensive coordinator in Philly. I think that might have been 95 through 98. I'm showing my age.
Right. Yeah.
You know by research. You know from research. That's how you get out.
Yeah. Let me Google that.
You read a book. You read a book about it.
Charlie Gardner. That was the Charlie Gardner, Ricky Waters years, right? Was that right. Rodney Peete? Rodney Peete was the quarterback.
Right.
But yeah, I want Sirianni to be aggressive, and I want him to be nasty. Like that's why I said I think Andy. Now that we've gotten to watch Andy not in Philadelphia, and this is a typical Philadelphia thing, we watch Andy blossom and develop and become. And I think he didn't even blossom and develop. I just think Andy went to Kansas City. It's a way easier city. They aren't calling for your head after you make one bad play. But Andy is the best coach in football right now. If I had to take a coach in football, I'm taking Andy over Bill right now. I'm not saying Bill's overall body of work isn't better than Andy's. I'm saying if we were ranking football coaches right now, I think Andy Reid should be number one on everybody's list after we watch what he's done. Like I was just looking, it's been 5 years? Dude, they killed him for trading up and taking him home. Mm-hmm. They killed him. Every draft expert, every website gave that pick a C- or worse.
Yes.
Yeah, now look at
5 years later.
I do want to say, because I was going to say Vermeil, so I'm mad that he said it before I could get it out. But I want the passion. I want the passion that man had for coaching in Philadelphia. That man literally cried. You know what I'm saying? Because he couldn't get the job done. And it wasn't like I hate the city, I need to go out, I'm going crazy. He literally was going crazy because he was trying so hard. I know that seems weird to say, but like it's true. And then I would go with Buddy Ryan. Like that defense, I'm a defensive guy, bro. That defense was ridiculous. If we could rebuild a defense like that, man, I would cry. I would love to see that. Now I want to steer
Jim Jones had a few.
To say again?
Jim Jones had a few defenses that were like that. Javon Kersey or Jason Evans, Javon Kersey. I wish we could have kept Trotter. Trotter went to DC and got old and then tried to come back. But prime Trotter, oh man, Jim Johnson had a lot of good.
I'm surprised when none of us said that off rip. To be honest, I mean, but it would be cool between them two. I think Jim Johnson was a beast though. Yeah. But either way,
Buddy was.
No, go ahead.
Buddy was nastier, but I like going through it when see, and I think that's why we hated sports as fans, because we knew if it was 3rd and 15, Jim Johnson was blitzing all 11 guys. Jim Johnson was blitzing all 11 guys. Hey, if I just get me blitzing 11 guys, you just gonna beat me blitzing 11 guys. But somebody's getting punched in the mouth. Like you're not getting ready to convert. You might convert 1 or 2. But you're not getting ready to convert 5 3rd and 15s on a drive like we watched in Tennessee.
Yeah, that was
no sticks defense back then.
No sticks defense, and that's the personality of the city. Go punch him in the mouth. Go punch him in the mouth. Like, why are you sitting back playing sticks?
Yeah. I'd rather lose swinging. I think every Philadelphia fan can go out like that. Like if we go out and we're swinging, hey. Nothing I can say. You know what I'm saying? Nothing I can say. But let's steer this in the right direction for the last 30 minutes. I want to start asking you guys about the Atlanta Falcons. So we're going to break up Jersey Boy's comment a little bit because I want to really dig into this, because I did do a video earlier who I thought would be my 2 offensive and defensive stars of the game, if you want to call them. Who do you guys think? And I want to start with offense. Marcus, we're going to start with you and then work our way down to Swerve. But I want to know who are 2. If you want to be greedy, you could take 3. But who are some of these guys on offense that you're really, eagle-eyeing? You like how I did that, pun intended. Yeah. But you're really watching, hard on Sunday.
Gainwell, I want to see what his package is. For one, what Sirianni cooks up for him. And then I want to see Jordan Mailata. I want to see what he does, this time, because he's the undisputed starter now, so I want to see what he does. Are we going to be able to close out the game. So I want those two guys, Gainwell and Mailata. I want to see what those two guys do and how they react on offense. So that's mine.
All right. Well, I like Mailata, and we had this conversation, and he was going to be the starter. Anyway, in my eyes, there was never an offensive tackle battle.
Right.
I believe Jordan was definitely going to be better than him. So all eyes are on him. But like we said, I'm not really worried because he doesn't get beat by the same move twice. So you might get him once, but you're not going to get him twice.
Right.
Falcons, again, they're fast, sideline to sideline. You can pound the Falcons.
Yeah.
I'm expecting the offensive line to show up and Miles Sanders to have a huge game. And it might not be Miles Sanders because I don't know how he's going to rotate the back, but I expect 130 yards rushing, 130-something yards rushing, plus Hurts. Hurts can actually run the ball a little bit. So I expect to get at them on the ground until they prove they can stop the rushing attack. And that's when Quez Watkins comes into play. All right, so Quez Watkins is the guy I'm watching this week because I believe you have Rager and Smith on the outside. Now Quez is going to be the third. And I believe once you start pounding the rock, that's going to loosen up and get some opportunities for Quez one-on-one. And if he wins those matchups, the Eagles should be able to score. So my offensive line, the whole offensive line, especially the offensive line, because I believe we got to run straight at the Falcons. You can't run sideline to sideline. It's not going to be too much off tackle there. Kelsey, the two big Brooks, Kelsey and Brooks, they got to win their matchups. So offensive line, running backs, and then if I had to pick out a player that should have a big week, I need Quez Watkins to have a big week. If Quez Watkins has 100, Quez Watkins has 3 catches for 90 yards. Eagles win by 9 points because one of them's going to be a touchdown. So on offense, I need the running back and Quez Watkins to have a big game. Quez Watkins needs to be the man who beats the coverage if we get the running game going, and I think that can happen.
Yeah, facts. And, I see a lot of Quez. I see a lot of Hurts. Obviously, a couple of my Latas. I even see I Spy a Falcons fan. There's not many of those out there on YouTube. But shout out to him, man. Shout out to Dave. You know what I'm saying? He says that he agrees. He agrees that they're a little bit too small to really stop us with our offensive line. Now, I know I did do a video earlier. Obviously, one of those guys on offense that I'm really looking at is Jalen Hurts for, very, very blatant reasons. But another guy that I was saying that nobody's really saying is Zach Ertz. I think that Zach Ertz is a big piece to this puzzle. And the reason I think that is because if we are running 2 wide receiver sets, you got 2 wide receivers on the outside and you got 2 speedy guys on the outside.
Yeah.
So if you have to make these safeties worry about the middle of the field, we might be a very scary team. Like if they can't put a safety over top for Quez because they have to worry about Zach Ertz, a route over the middle, or a Dallas Goedert route over the middle, or Kenneth Gainwell going crazy in the backfield over the middle of the field. Like if we have him controlling that middle of the field like he has before, Zach Ertz, that's kind of what he's known for. He's going to catch the ball if it comes towards him. So I think that's a huge guy. Hell yeah.
You think we're going to play a lot of 12? We're going to play a lot of 12?
Yes.
I just think the formation-wise, we're going to play a lot of 12.
I think right now you kind of cornered yourself into doing that. I saw a lot of 4 wide receivers, but one of those wide receivers could realistically be Zach Ertz or Dallas Goedert. Like I would not be surprised to see that at all. So we'll see what happens. Maybe you put somebody like a Jack Stahl who's a better blocker, an inline blocker coming out of college. He has some skill as a receiver, don't get me wrong, but he's a better inline blocker. Maybe you're putting somebody like him, or maybe you're putting Dallas Goedert as a true tight end, or maybe there's so many things you can do with these tight ends.
Yeah,
I've listened. I think with the Falcons have the old dude, the defensive coordinator now.
Yeah.
He former Baltimore guy, so I think his package is gonna be blitz heavy. And again, in blitz heavy, it's about winning your matchup.
I think that I think we can beat them if their plan is to make Jalen Hurts think quick. I think that will beat them. I think, and it comes down to the coach realizing it, even if it's at halftime, even if it's, him saying at halftime, listen, Hurts, you got literally no time. Just drop back. If the first guy's not there, become that one read guy. Like, last year, a lot of people, a lot of people gave him flack because he's a one read quarterback coming out of college, which I tend to kind of disagree with a little bit. I understand the notion, but in my opinion, you don't get. Yeah, you don't get 70%.
Not at Oklahoma.
But you know what?
Facts, exactly. So you don't get damn near 70%, completion rating in freaking Oklahoma by being a one read guy, in my opinion. I could be 100% wrong, but my thing with him is that being a one read guy is not that bad of a thing, especially when you have no offensive line, you have no real, weapons at wide receiver, talking about last year, and you have no coach that's really trying to be creative. So last year, him being a lead quarterback probably saved him, like in a lot of these situations. So I'm not mad if that's what he has to become for a game or two. Obviously, the main goal is to develop. Yes. But at the end of the day, I think that if it's a game that we need to get out here, get a couple yards, and you're our really only option that's opening up, go out there, Hurts.
Yeah, take off.
But the other thing,
go ahead.
The other thing that I think, like we mentioned earlier on, that will come up is actually throwing to the running back out of the backfield. Just as much as your tight ends or your safety blanket, your running backs will be. Hopefully, Miles can get his hands a little bit better. But that's why I'm saying Gainwell is going to be somebody I'm really watching because. Hey, when Hurts doesn't see the first read, he has Gainwell right there, or Miles, or Boston. Running backs.
Yeah, dump it off.
Before you go, Marv, let me just say to Sean Marsh real quick. He said, you can't be creative when the O-line is decimated. Stop disrespecting Dougie P. Now, you guys are my boys. Off of line, you guys are my boys. So please check me if I'm wrong in saying this. But if your O-line is trash, maybe you shouldn't be chucking Hail Marys on first down almost every freaking time. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is.
Plays.
Right, and then your plays shouldn't take 20 seconds to develop.
Exactly, develop.
Like, why are you 8 or 6 or 7 step drop backs in your play?
Your
line can't hold up. That doesn't make any sense.
Y'all just called me and asked me that I want to play guard. You got Jamon Brown playing guard, and like Jamon Brown couldn't block me one-on-one, and you running a play that takes 7 seconds to develop.
Right. What do you want him to do? That's all on Doug though. Your line can't block, so call short plays.
Joe, what did he do? He let the quarterback get killed and then fix his glove.
He was fixing his glove. He was looking. You remember when Kane used to come out? Kane used to come out. He used to do that.
That's the part. Yeah, that's the part I don't blame Wentz for. That's why I don't. People were like, "Oh, Wentz did this and Wentz didn't." I get it. I get how he felt, but I don't blame him either.
Jamon Brown.
Facts. Now, shout out to my guy, Philly Insider Podcast, Hunter Doyle. This guy watches film and everything, so I love when he drops his insight. And this is why I say I need my friends to check me sometimes. So he did say Lincoln Riley does have a lot of quick reads to just get the ball into playmakers' hands. Sirianni will do some of that as well, but to elevate to a Super Bowl contender, I do think he needs to get through 1 through 4 progression. So I agree with that, 100%.
So
now let's switch.
I agree with that. Hold on, let me say something about that for you. I agree with that 100%. But let's look at it. We watched Baker Mayfield do the same shit at Oklahoma. We watched Jalen came in. We watched what's my man Murray. We watched Murray do the same thing. You got to figure like these guys were blessed with CeeDee Lamb, Hollywood Brown. Those guys were all there. So it was like boom, quick read, get the playmaker, get the ball in the playmaker's hands. Mac Jones had a similar. Mac Jones wasn't that great. Mac Jones threw 122 screen passes to Devontae Smith, and what was the other boy they drafted Jalen Waddle. So Mac Brown. No, listen, I'm gonna break. Mac Jones threw 121 screen passes between Najee Harris Devontae Smith and Jalen Waddle. He threw 121 screens. Then he had another 92 passes completed off of play action after because you got Harris in there pounding the ball. So yes, initially we want him to get and be a 3-4 read guy, but right now the way things are set up, it should be a 1-2, and I'm fine with that getting that clock in his head where it's 3.3. It's time for me to make a move or throw the ball away. So not saying I don't want him, but earlier we said it's all about developing. So in the first 4 or 5 weeks, if he's that first read guy, second read guy, and then throwing the ball away, I don't expect to see that same quarterback in week 15, 16, 17. But if that happens week 1 through 3, I'm all right with it as long as he's developing. Because, like, I know Don Pease is his name. Don Pease is going to blitz the hell out of Jalen Hurts on Sunday. So I think we should be ready for Hurts. Because Hurts might be our lead rusher on Sunday. Because I believe Pease is going to – that the defense is that Atlanta defense is extremely fast. So they're going to force Hurts to make a decision where he's either going to throw or he's going to have to take off. So we might not get to see that third, fourth, fifth read get made on Sunday because he's going to be taking off. Now, if the line holds up and they're picking up on the blitzes and he can step up in the pocket, it's a beautiful thing. But if not, he can move. And I want him to move. I want you to slide, and if it's not there, take off.
Footwork matters.
And that's the thing. I don't want him to lose that one read thing. I think that's kind of what started killing Carson Wentz at the end. But we can make a whole live about this. So I want to move on to the defense because people are asking about the defense. We got about 45, 50 people in here. Let me know as we talk. I want to know your guys' opinions as well. But people are asking, how do you defend Pitts? What's our defense looking like? So I want to ask you the same question just on the defensive side. Who are 2 guys that you're looking at on the defensive side that really need to step up this week?
Ooh. I want to see how we defend Ridley because I think Ridley made a name for himself because he played across from Julio, and without Julio there, is Ridley a guy that you let Slay follow or? Does Slay stay where he stays? Or does Slay come out on Pitts? If Pitts is that dangerous, does Slay come out on and you match him up with Pitts? I think I would make Pitts beat me. Honestly, Pitts would be the one that has to beat me. I would put Slay on Ridley. Again, our defensive line is fine. If our linebackers can make some tackles, we should be in the game. So if you got Slay on Ridley, the D line's holding up against the run and getting a pass rush. Pitts is the guy that beats you. So make Pitts beat. I'm not worried about Kyle Pitts. I want Kyle Pitts to have 13, 14 receptions. Because if he's got 13, 14 receptions, that means Ridley ain't touching the rock. None of that other offense. Their offense, they ain't running the ball. They singling out and they throwing to Kyle Pitts. And if you're throwing to Kyle Pitts in the middle of the field, anything can happen.
I think so. For mine. I'm looking right directly at Steven Nelson for one because he's going to be the second corner, right? When people don't want to throw at Slay, they're going to want to throw at Steven.
They're going to attack Nelson, right?
And then the second guy I'm looking at is Fletch because a lot of dirt was been thrown on Fletch this offseason. Talking about he ain't the same Fletch he was in 17 or 18. You know what I'm saying? And I know he's heard it because I've been watching it, following it on Twitter. He and then some of the question answer sessions with the media in Philly. I think it was I don't want to name his name, but he had a particular reporter that asked him a question. He kind of just gave him the gas. Didn't say anything to him. I know you guys know what I'm talking about, but yeah, my 2, okay, Fletch, I want to see what Fletch is going to do this year. He's going to show these people, like, hey, stop throwing dirt on my name. So Nelson, and Fletch, those are what I'm looking at right now.
Yeah, like I said, we did a video earlier, but the video I said Javon, and I said I forget the other one. So you're gonna have to watch the video and find out on your own. But either way, another guy I want to talk about, I should say, is probably gonna be our safeties. You know, Rodney McLeod is trending towards starting week 1. If he doesn't, it would be interesting to see who will be out there. It'll be interesting to see, you know, who his backup is if we run with 3 safeties. I want to see what we do in the secondary because I feel more confident about the secondary than I did, you know, say like the end of last year. But I'm not going to sit here and act like, you know, I think we have an all-world secondary. I do think that we could get beat, and I'm not looking forward to that. Also, shout out to Casper saying, "What up, fellas? This is my first visit. Love it.
Welcome,
subscribe.
Casper.
Keep up the great work. We appreciate you. We appreciate you." Now we have about 15 minutes left, and I want to end it here. And I want everybody in the comments to give me your predictions as well. But quickly, I want you to tell me, what do you think the Eagles need to do to win, and then give me your score prediction.
Okay, so for the first game, obviously,
for Atlanta.
What the Eagles need to do is once they get up, pound the ball. If you get up, and if they get up in the game, let's say 10 points, pound the ball, right? And also, move the pocket for Jalen. Use your running backs out the backfield. You know, screens. Well, that's something we haven't seen in 3 years. You know, not more. I want to see more screens. And then on the defensive side, please get to the quarterback. And I'm not talking about having to do these different packages. Get to the quarterback. Matt, we all know Matt Ryan isn't the fastest of quarterbacks. Once you get back to him, get back there. You might not get to sack, but put him on the ground. That's what you need to do. Because guess what that does? That makes sure, because you're still kind of iffy, not really iffy, but you're still kind of average on the backside. So if you got a good hunting session up front, the guys in the back can sit back and watch, and see what's going on and be more confident. So that's what I'm looking at. That's what I think.
What's your score? We ain't letting you out without a score prediction.
I'm
trying to slide out all smooth.
I think the score would be 27-19.
Ooh,
Eagles.
Okay, I like that. All right, Swerve, what you thinking? I see he's rubbing the beer for a good prediction. That's what he's trying to do.
Attack Grady Jarrett, block Dante Fowler, put Terrell, I believe we can pick on AJ Terrell. I really believe whether it's Smith, whether it's Rager, I believe they can win that matchup as long as the line's protected. So pound the rock. I want 25 rushing attempts, and I'm counting those rushing attempts even if Hurts takes off. I want Hurts to use his leg. I want if it's 3rd and 2, and he drops back and he makes that first read and it's not there, and you can go get that 2-3 yards with your leg. I want Hurts to do it. I want Hurts to. If Hurts is leading, if they're leading rusher, I'm fine with that. But I just believe we have to attack. You have to go between the tackles. We got to run the ball between the tackles. So I need 25 attempts rushing. That's going to open up the big play. It definitely will open up the big play. I believe Atlanta's they're fast, but they're soft. Mm-hmm. They're fast, but you can punch them in the mouth and punch them in. Like Deion Jones is a great linebacker, sideline to sideline. Deion Jones is probably Devin White might be the only person I think that was faster than him sideline to sideline. No, I'm not saying he's bad. I'm just saying I believe we can win the matchup once we establish the role. Once we establish the run. I believe that helps our receivers. And AJ Terrell, he struggles with shifty receivers. That's the kid from Clemson, right? AJ Terrell played at Clemson, right?
So, right. And then to that point, Marv was saying, if you can sort of, because if the Eagles are running the ball, guess what AJ is going to do? He's going to creep up closer.
His eyes are in the backfield.
Right. And he's going to have to defend on a sprint. and you don't want to do that. So there's a possibility that it could happen.
He said, brother, I want to disagree with you so bad, but the truth, the Falcons are soft and has been for years. That's funny. I respect it, though. It is what it is. They have a nasty offense. So, I mean, if their offense goes crazy, then, yay, it is what it is. But what is your score prediction, Marv?
All right, you got to punch him in the mouth. I like it to be 24-20 Eagles. 24-20 Eagles.
Okay,
I think the Eagles.
So we got to go ahead.
I think the Eagles can score. I think the Eagles can score. I think we're going to be surprised by how well they play offensively. But I think we're going to establish the run. And Philly said the running backs can pick up the blitz. So if the running backs can pick up the blitz, then that means my man Quez Watkins is going to go off and he'll be the player of the game. He's going to get three for 115 and a touchdown for Quez Watkins. And 2017, 24-20, something like that.
Yep.
All right, so I'm gonna say this. I think that to win this game, I think Mark said it. You got to pick on Matt Ryan. You got to be in that backfield, even if it's not 10-sack game. You have to be getting him on his butt. You got to make him uncomfortable. Make him try to get outside the pocket. Exactly. Try to make him win with not just his arm, because if you let him sit back there and pick you apart, he's gonna probably tear us apart. Especially with Calvin Ridley. If you let him sit back there and have more than 3 seconds every play, we're getting torn up. Yeah. We need to see these linebackers really take control in the passing game. And it's going to be short passes. I'm not talking about we need you to go down the field with Kyle Pitts. I think that if you start asking them to do that, you're cutting yourself a little bit short as a coaching staff. So use your guys the proper way, and I think we can contain all these wide receivers. I think we can make it a low-scoring game. And if you look back at our games against them, our history against them, it's usually a pretty low-scoring game. Obviously, the most recent one, I think they kind of put up a couple points on us. I'm not going to say the score. It is what it is. But, I think that this week we're going to learn a lot about this coaching staff. We're going to learn a lot about this team. So it's going to be up to adjustments at halftime. I think that the first half, both of us will be sloppy. But I think that if our coaching staff can go in and make the right adjustments at halftime, we'll notice the difference. We'll notice the difference because we haven't seen it all last year. So, realistically, I'm going to say I did have us winning this game when I did the record prediction. I'm going to say 24-10. And that's because I think that our defense is that good. I think our defense might score a touchdown this game, realistically, because they're gonna. If we can, like you said, if we can establish the run, if we can take over the time of possession, I feel like Matt Ryan and this passing game will get a little desperate, and we can take advantage of that. So that's what I'm looking for.
This is the first time we're seeing him without Julio in a long time.
Facts.
So I
think this is going to be a good test for our defense. Not so much, I don't think our offense. I think obviously you're going to get tested. You're coming out to a new, but I think that our offense can put up points. You know what I'm saying? But I want them to go slow. So when I say that they might only put up 17, 24 points, it's mainly because I want them to run the whole first half damn near. I want you to make it seem like, oh, these guys got 3 running backs and they're just going to use them all game. I want it to seem like that and then pop them over the top. That's what I want to see. You know what I'm saying? Or even just these screens on the outside or something like that. So, I mean, that's what I want to see. So we have 3 dubs. We got 3 dubs in the chat. I'm sure Brandon's going to, say that they're going to win because, he got to, man. He's the positive side of the Philly. I'm usually like the negative pessimist, but so he's going to come out with a video a little bit later tonight about his thoughts. He'll give you his spiel and everything. But before we get off of here, Mark and Swerve, is there anything you want to say to these people, these beautiful people? We still got like 50 people, so be sure to hit that like, hit that subscribe, of course.
Yeah. First thing I would like to say to y'all is just, it's tough us being Eagles fans, but please have some sort of patience this year. You got to get out of the valleys. You got to find an even ground. I'm not saying obviously we're going to be fans, but at the end of the day, understand that this season is about growing pains. They're going to grow. Our team is young. We've asked for the team to be young for years. Now we got it. Let them grow. let the staff grow with the team. Obviously still pay attention to what Howie's doing, but just have some patience. It's gonna be a fun and exciting year. That's what I think. I'm ready to ride with y'all. So over to Marv.
Patience. Like I was just looking, like I'm gonna list off some things for y'all, right? And then so we have our quarterback Jalen Hurts. He's 23, right? The quarterback at the University of Miami started yesterday is older than Jalen Hurts. So you're starting a 23-year-old quarterback. You have a 24-year-old running back in Miles Sanders, and Gainwell's 22. And you have in Boston Scott's 26. Then at receiver, Rager's 22, Devontae Smith's 22, Arcega-Whiteside's 24, Greg Ward's 26, and Quez Watkins is 23. So right now, our skill position, the average age of our skill position players is 23 and a half, 23. So, I mean, you got Ertz at 30, Goddard at 26, and Stoll at 23. But you get where I'm going. Then Tyree Jackson, who I love, I'm hoping he comes. I don't know how long he's going to be down, but he's at 6'7", 249. He has a skill set, and he's going to help. So we just got to be patient. Our line is older. Yes, we're old on both sides of the line, but that's what we need right now. We got Kerrigan, who I love that signing. I love the Kerrigan signing. Kerrigan, Fletch, and Brandon Graham, they're gonna beat up on Jake Matthews this week, but that's another. They should beat up Hargrave. We should be fine. But just take into consideration when critiquing and criticizing our skill set, our skill players on offense, because I think our offense is going to be a little further behind our defense. Like y'all think we're going to go score all these points. I think it's going to be the other way around. I think our defense is actually going to be ahead of our offense because we're playing so many young guys and they haven't had the reps necessary.
Yeah.
So just keep in mind, you got a 23-year-old quarterback throwing to two 22-year-old receivers and a 24-year-old running back who's backup who the backup running back and receiver is 22 years old. So you're literally playing with guys who are just now able to actually drink, like they're kids. So be patient. Be patient. No expectations. We're not winning the Super Bowl. We're here to compete this year. We're here to compete. Like they played Dallas twice. If they're competitive in both of those games, I'll be happy. They play Tampa Bay and they play Kansas City within 2 weeks. I think it's like a 10-day turnaround or something crazy like that. If they're competitive in one of those games, I'll be happy. If they're competitive in both of those games, I'll be stoked. So I believe the Eagles can win this week, win next week, and then week 3 is the true test when they go to Dallas and we see how this team performs in that type of atmosphere on the road. But just stay patient. Like we said, peaks and valleys. There's going to be a lot of valleys this year. But also, you can't base your peaks off of wins and losses. You have to base your peaks off of development and performance.
Individual development. There you go.
Individual development and performance.
That's the facts, man. So listen, man, it is one more week. By this time next week, we will have known if the Philadelphia Eagles are 1-0 or 0-1, or I hate to say it because it is our reality, maybe 0-1. Well, you never know. You never know with the Philadelphia Eagles. I hate to say it, but no, realistically, man, listen, to everybody in here, we still about 50 people in here. I want to say genuinely, thank you so much for riding with me through this off season. It is finally over. We are Penn State is 1-0. So I love that. I'm in an extra happy mood if the Eagles can win. So I'm going to take that. Hey, don't no ones because we are going to be number 1.
that damn Clifford boy, he looked so good at the end of the year last year. And then he looked like how he forgot how to play football for 3 quarters yesterday. He's lucky that Wisconsin had some three fumbles in the red zone because you're wasting Five. Five was out there beating his man every time, and he's overthrowing him.
Listen, I'm on right now. I'm not talking about negative.
No,
stuff.
we're not.
All right.
Got out there with a dub.
I'm talking if you lose.
Right, y'all got
and
out
I would have told you a whole. I would have told you a lot about Clifford, but no, really, it is what it is, man. I'm in a good place right now. But no, I'm so excited for this season, man. So I can't wait for us to really get it. Like I said, we have Simply Swerve, or like you said earlier, so we have Simply Swerve now on the channel. We did it a couple shows. You guys seem to like it. So throughout the season, I'm sure we're going to be doing a lot more. It's going to be a lot of fun. But hey, listen, man, everybody be sure to hit that like, hit that subscribe, follow us at all our channels. I appreciate you. I know this was very, very impromptu, but I appreciate everybody that slid through. But other than that, y'all know what it is, man. Even though I got trees behind me, this ain't my real set. It's still this. It's still Fly Eagles Fly, and we are out here.
Yeah.
Scott with the Philadelphia
John
Eagles.
Dornbos here, the Philadelphia Eagles.
Edwards of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Follow my guy Joe Castro on his YouTube/podcast channel.
Let's give a shout out to the Philly podcast.
And shout out Philly and my guy Joe Castro. So keep on doing great things, guys. Fly Eagles Fly.
Fly Eagles Fly.
Go Birds.